Yeah, that works. I was just like, I always look to myself in the corner and I go, God, miserable. Hello everyone, hello. My name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns, and this is Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPG streams, in which I read a tabletop RPG, usually a quick start or a book that I've had on my shelf for many a month, and I'm like, I probably need to read this, see if I like it, and not just randomly, willy-nilly buy RPGs. Hello. How are you guys doing? I'm doing alright. Good evening, friend. Oh, JC Darcy, you are perceived, my friend. How are you doing? How are you doing, my friend? I'm doing very well. It's been a very busy week, and I haven't been doing a lot of streaming because I've been very aware of there has been certain strikes, etc. And so I've just been trying to be a bit more mindful of that sort of thing. But it's also been very busy. I've been to Amsterdam for like a flying 24 hours to teach to teach improvisers about role-playing techniques, which was very, very good. Everyone said they liked it. It's very lovely. I've been invited to go to do something similar in December, and I was like, I'd like to do that very much. So I did felt very good about that. Less good that I accidentally took the workshop key, and I did get a little bit of a telling off by the organizer, and now I have to post back a key to a random place tomorrow. So that was not fun. Perceive me, I'm grand, relaxing after a hectic weekend. You've been off jet setting too. Yes. Well, I hope you're properly relaxing now, JC Darcy, and not too, hectic weekends. Boo. And yet today I was playing some board games with some friends. Some friends came over. We played Clank, which I'd never played before, and that was quite fun. We also played a very beautiful little game which was like camping, like campfires. And it was a bit like Jenga, but you had to use like little tweezers, and I got the shakes anyway, so that was never gonna end well. I got very sweaty. I'm even thinking about it now. I got sweaty hands as a result. Other news is I've got some new tech. Spent some payday money in advance, which is never the best thing, but I was like, I need some tech. And I've got it, and it's over there. And I thought about trying to get it ready for the stream, and I was like, nah, I want to do the stream, and then I need to go do some editing, and then I need to go to the gym, maybe go to the gym before midnight, because I can do that sort of thing. So, hello, Auntie Fee. It's not Zarati Kid. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? It's been too long. I desire tech. Give me technology. Absolutely. Oh, well, hello, Zarati Kid. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Yes, apologies. It's like about half an hour earlier, but I was like sat here and I was like, let's go live now. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you had a good weekend. So today, folks, as always on Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPG streams, we're going to look at a game that has interested me for various reasons. It's on the big list, and what I usually do, I have a long list about roughly 250 RPGs, always growing, as you can imagine, and I do like a random number generator, and I go, this is the game we're doing today. And it's one I've actually put off for a little while when it's come before, just because I was like, it's one of those games where I really love the publishers, the game designers, Storybrewers Role Playing. They're fantastic folks. Obviously, I don't think we've covered Good Society on here. But with these games, they always have lots of little bits and pieces, extra elements. And this game is no different. However, again, about 10 minutes before the stream, I realised there is a quick start. So I don't have to show the whole game. So we're going to look at the quick start today of Fight with Spirit, a sports drama RPG, which I'm very excited for. Storybrewers Role Playing, like I said, they're most famous for Alas, the Awful Sea. They've got a bunch of free storytelling games as well, and Good Society, the Jane Austen RPG, which I actually referenced in the class that I taught yesterday, because they have our favourite letter writing phase. And let me tell you, telling improvisers to improvise letters to each other, but they couldn't respond straight away, I blew their minds in about half an hour. It was great. So I absolutely love the team. They're in Australia, and they've done incredibly well for themselves. And I feel like the shame, I guess, in it is that we don't see a lot of actual plays of their work, because they're a little bit maybe more complex, maybe a little bit more, you have to think a bit more logistics-wise about their streaming a good setup of it. But every time I've run a game, certainly of Good Society, people have always come in a bit nervous because it feels like there's a lot of structure and a lot of moving parts, and then they play it and they absolutely fall in love with it. So I am actually delighted that we get to look at Fight with Spirit today. I'm good, thank you. Am says hi to. Oh, hello, Am. I hope you're all right, my friend. I'm so sorry you're still in bed. Hopefully you can get back to doing all the cool things and telling people to do their jobs properly, Zarate Kid included. All right, let's get away from Big Fiona screen and we go straight to the actual website. So this is storybrewersroleplaying.com, and this is Fight with Spirit, the Straw. So instantly, what a good! I love all the sort of cool anime-inspired sort of imagery, because that's what it sort of takes its inspiration from. So, when you have sort of that sort of any sort of team drama, sports team, like God, this is where I can't remember any of the animes I watched. Does anyone remember there was like a football animation in the 90s where it was like they had a football team but they had their stadium in a volcano. I remember watching that and absolutely loving it. It was absolutely ridiculous. But anything like that, and I say this as someone who is an ex-sports person. I used to play back in the day. I used to play Quidditch, obviously now quad ball for various reasons, and then I've also played tag rugby, touch rugby, basketball briefly, and I always enjoyed it. I kind of left for different reasons, just because I wasn't very good at any of them. Turns out in team sports, people really want you to be good, even in recreational leagues, which kind of sucks. And dodgeball. I really enjoyed dodgeball. Really enjoyed it, but yeah, too many egos, not enough time. Essentially. Hey there, really looking forward to this one. Hello, Kev Reed. Hello, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Yes. So, as I said, we're going to look at the quick start for this. Obviously, you can get the full version out. It was funded on Kickstarter about 2 years ago, and yeah, it's got a lot of elements to it. But we're gonna do it together. So, Fight with Spirit is a sports drama RPG. Grow up together and fight for your passion in this tabletop RPG. Hone your skills, face down rivals, and reach for the top. Nice, simple, straightforward tagline. It's for 2 to 5 players, including a facilitator. Wow, so you could play a one-on-one game with a GM for this particular game about a sports team. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Play any number of sessions. A full tournament takes 6 to 8. Now that is interesting because, again, I haven't covered Good Society on here, but in Good Society, it has like a cycle of play, and I believe this is no different either. And to get the full experience of a cycle of play is that you should do between, I think it was 6 to 8 cycles as well, to get the full experience of the game, but each cycle takes roughly about 3 to 4 hours. And so trying to sell that game to somebody, saying, hey, we can't really do one shots, we need to do at least 6 to 8 sessions, people get a little bit, it's very hard if they've never played a game before. Like D&D, I think you can get away with it a little bit, but when it's something like this, when it has a little bit more structure to it, or a little bit more unknownness to it, it might be a bit tricky. But here, it says, yeah, play any number of sessions, so that'd be quite interesting to see. Can we just do it in one session? One shot. And of course, most importantly, look, online play supported. Hooray! I love it when games think about that as well. So yeah, the other thing to note is that Dicebreaker named it one of their top 10 upcoming RPGs, and Dicebreaker do have a good sense of like what good RPGs are when they decide to write about them. But obviously we've now got Rascal news for that now, which should be good. So, Fight with Spirit, everyone can see that, yeah. Ah, lovely illustration style. Yeah, it's really beautiful, isn't it? I really love it. And it's all so different as well. And the quick start doesn't have too much in terms of like all the teams you could play, but all the artwork I've seen has been really good. So, passion, victory, and friendship. Hooray! Let's go! Fight with Spirit is a sports drama, a tabletop RPG about a team growing up together and fighting for their passion. In this game, you'll hone your skills, face down rivals, and strive to take your team to the national championships. Along the way, you'll explore friendships, feelings, and fleeting natures of your time together. Fight with Spirit is built to tell sports stories inspired by anime such as Free, Run with the Wind, and a word I can absolutely not pronounce. How do you that? Chihayafuru. Wow. As well as high school movies such as Bring It On. Oh, hell yeah, Bring It On. And remember the titles. What about Mighty Ducks, eh? Take your team to the top. Play a high school or college sports team battling your way through a major tournament. Your relationships, motivations, and team will change as you grow, learn, and connect on and off the court. Your team will win ultimate victory, or will they find defeat? Will they find defeat? They will find defeat. But is it love, hope, and passion that are the real stakes on your journey Oh, but it is love, hope, and passion that are the real stakes on your journey as you grow up together and share the moments until school ends. I don't know why I'm phrasing it as like questions, but is it love? Is it hope and passion? So yeah, let's see. Can we get a big vision? Oh, nice. So yeah, so this is what the full physical box looks like. So it's like, almost like a very much like board gamey, like, isn't it? And here's some of the elements we've got here. So I'll have a quick look. Some of the that's the back of the box, obviously. Oh, a nice little shot of I think that's Haley's actual balcony. So these are condition cards that we'll get, and I think so. I'm guessing character cards. So almost like these elements here, they're very board game like. You use cards to sort of create your characters in certain ways. A lot of games do that. Like so Good Society has like an NPC cards as well, so you can actually generate NPCs very quickly. You've also got desire cards. Sorry, that was it. Desire cards and relationship cards as well. So it's something physical that if you're at the table, someone you could easily hand over and check something. And I quite like that. I quite like the tactile nature of that. It's just a little bit tricky, perhaps, online, unless you have something like Roll20 that has it put in, because otherwise there's a lot of setup. I think this is the thing. I was reading the sort of the ways for online play. They have here's the online stuff you need. Here's how you set it up at the VTT. So they actually do think about that in terms of setting it up. I don't know what these ones were. Well, obviously we'll see it there. General there. And there's the whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, you get stuff like set piece sheet, and you got traits, conditions. I think this must be the match stuff. Yeah, we'll have a look in there. Oh yeah, traits there, etc. So different cards for different things. What about Cool Runnings? Of course. How could I be so silly? Of course, Cool Runnings. One of the best sports films of all time. I've got my nice. They've got Wild Cherry Lucasade back in stock. I'm like, yes. So what do we have? We have join your team. Each team has its own history, problems, and unique team abilities. Are you a fallen powerhouse or defending champions? Choose your traits. Everyone plays for a reason. Your traits tell you who you are, why you play, and what unanswered questions burn in your mind. Explore relationships. The strength of your team will determine your outcome. Friends, rivals, family, they all can help you grow or hold you back. Take that, bloody friends holding me back. And then earn spirit and fight. As you play to give you the edge in match as you face down rival teams. So yeah, there's like little physical like bits of plastic. Again, I know you could probably use any tokens, but presumably that as long as they're different colours. And they've got like a theme of like yellow and purple going on, haven't they? Genuinely, yeah, absolutely, my friend. So let's keep going on this page for now, because like I said, this is going to explore the full core book, but obviously we're going to look at the quick start in a second. So fast-paced matches. Matches take place through match games that explore high-stake highlights. Choose your match game for maximum drama. Go head-to-head with a rival, break out of a deadlock, or fight through feelings with your crush. Each team has their own match games you'll unlock while you play. Ooh, unlock! So it almost has like a legacy element, perhaps. I'm thinking of like in Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, you can unlock mementos and unlock chapters to play in future. Play through tense moments blow by blow. Choose to push yourself to get an edge. Everyone is counting on you. Will you give it your all to succeed? Your all. Yeah, I guess that's. Draw your victory. So make epic sports moments by drawing cards from the match deck. So this is the match deck. Spend your hard-earned spirit and fight to manipulate the cards and get an edge in your match game. Nice. And here's the other thing. Story Brews always do fantastic video tutorials. So if you're like Fiona, I have no idea what you're talking about with the Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPG streams, I'd highly recommend checking out Haley and V's playthroughs and the way they present as well. They've presented some panels on their game design methods and philosophy. Absolutely incredible. It's fascinating to watch. So yeah, we can watch them through here as well. And yeah, you can download. This is where I got the quick start after realizing you can just get that and not use the full version, which I do have. I will be fair, I do have the core version, but I always feel a bit icky using the core version. if I, because I don't want people to be like, see the whole thing, etc. Certainly if there's a quick start available that people go, oh, that sounds really interesting, and then buy and give their money to folks as well. So that's why we're looking at it today. And then, yeah, you can download the materials there as well. And the credits here. Yeah, Haley and V are the two folks, the main two folks behind Story Brewers Role Playing. You will give it your all, Fiona Toughlove Howard. The board game crossover stuff here is super interesting. Yes, well, last year, says trying to have a think about it. Was it last year? Or yeah, it was. Yeah, would have been last year, 2013. There's a game. There's a board. It's too far away. I can't reach it to pull towards you. There's a. I'm just going to point at it before I remember what it's called. It's called Critical. And it is Critical Foundations is the name of it. It's like a season of a role-playing game, but it's broken down into 30-minute like sections, and it is very board game-like. So it almost crosses that betweenness for it. I had a read through of it. The rules are okay. I just don't know if you could do something in half an hour. I mean, I've done it for a live show and stuff, but you have to be really super quick, and it has to be super flexible in terms of that, because people actually do want at least hour-long stuff, I think. But they only give you 40 minutes on certain stages. Anyway, so there's that. There's also, the Spectaculars was the other one I saw, which is very much like a superhero type one aimed at sort of younger audiences. But it comes with like a full like plastic like tray, I think is the best way of it, where you put your character sheet there, and then you can put cards and swap things out as you level up and stuff. But it's all in like, it's all modular, I think it's called. I tried to look to see if I could get a version of it, because I wanted to really look at it. It's very expensive. So maybe I'll get the PDF and have a look through that at some point as well. Oh snap, these are the same people who made Alas for the Awful Sea. I love that game too. Yes, exactly. I haven't actually looked through that game properly. But yeah, all of their games, all of their stuff I always find is very interesting. And recently, actually, whilst we're on this page, it might be here. I know I'm preaching to the choir quite a bit here. Obviously, they've got little boxes as well, little sort of usual type board game stuff, but they have, it must be here somewhere. Explore free games, there we go. They've recently released something called The Birthday. I was trying to find, there we go, The Birthday. David Kills Goliath is also pretty cracking as well, but this is where I'll show you The Birthday. So this came out, I think, 2 weeks ago, and I think our friend Brian in Discord got about it as well, where essentially it is your mother's 60th birthday, and you yourself or you and another player are playing siblings trying to get everything sorted for it, and it sounds cracking. It's a map crawl of family relationships and social landmines. Sounds great. I'm considering running it for Where just to have some content. But it's what I like here is that they tell you like how difficult the game is as well. So it's about for 1 to 2 players, roughly about 2 hours. It's got a few rules, but isn't too complicated. Nice, easy thing to just to quickly show you. So yeah, you can pop that in and get that on your email. But we're not looking at that today. I just thought I'd share that because I was like, another free game, which sounds really cool. Hello Brian, how you doing, my friend? I have the physical version of Fight with Spirit, and I'm excited to get it to the table. Yes, excited for the birthday. Yes, so I've just literally I mentioned your name, saying you'd shared it in our Discord, and thus you appear. That's really cool. Yes, we're looking at the quick start today. I didn't want to overshare too much, but I think the quick start should get us going on that front as well. But yeah, I was looking at, well, maybe I should get the physical one and play it to the game as well. Anyway, let's not go to Big Fiona Cam. We're off Big Fiona Cam. Go to the Fight with Spirit quick start. There we go. So this is quick start that came out in August 2021, so naturally might have changed a little bit in the full game, and it might not contain all the rules as well. This is only 21 pages long. The actual core book, not including the sort of set playbooks or anything like that, is about 41 pages, 44 pages, etc. as well. So I think, again, this is just me saying it without actually looking at it, I think the things that are missing from the quick start are like all the teams that you could play and all that sort of history about it, which makes sense. There's also a bit more flavours and stuff, so we might get 1 or 2 teams here. So let's go dive right in, shall we? Spirit. And what I like about this, I'm just going to say straight away, it is clearly because it's very differently formatted to the other RPGs we've looked at before. Normally RPGs are sort of the A4, usually 2 columns, big text, a little bit light on maybe interior art. This has already been sort of laid out as if it's like a board game, like a instruction manual, right? Got 3 columns. It's horizontal. I've got some nice colours there. It is text readable, which is all good. The only thing I'd say, and I don't know how it looks like on the stream, but that very light, thin blue is a little bit, fades away a little bit. I think if they boldened it a little bit more, it'll just look a little bit, just pop a little bit more. It's the only thing I'd say. Yeah, because we've got the yellow and the light blue on white. I find that a little tricky to read, but obviously if you have it on black, there's a bit of a waste of ink to print out as well. Like, look at that bottom, the bottom thing there. Like, I know I need to zoom in anyway. Oh, goodness me. Anyway, let's zoom in. Enhance. Alright, so get ready to fight with Spirit. A sports drama RPG. So it is a collaborative role-playing game about a sports team growing up together and fighting for their passion. In this game, this is the third time I'm saying this, I know, you'll hone your skills, face down rivals, and strive to take your team to the national championships. But you'll also explore friendships, feelings, and the challenges of change. Ooh. Coming of age tale. It's built to tell sports stories inspired by such animes as Free, Run with the Wind, and the word I cannot say, Chihayafuru, as well as high school movies such as Bring It On and Remember the Titans. In this quick start, you will play your way through an important tournament. Oh, okay, so we do get the full rules here, perhaps. Your relationships, motivations, and team will change as you grow, learn, and connect on and off the court. Your team will win ultimate victory, or they will find defeat. But it is love, hope, and passion that are the real stakes on your journey as you grow up together and share the moments until school ends. This is a quick start version of the game and does not contain the full rules for Fight with Spirit. Yes, fair enough. It only includes a small fraction of the teams, there we go, traits, and match components to come. The full version will be expanded to add an even more depth to the game, including sports playing styles, emotional fallout, emotional damage, and more. We're still currently playtesting the game and hope to improve it even further with your feedback. So yeah, obviously it's now out for you to play. So that is fun. It's nice that already at the top, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but if you have any questions or you'd like to share them, they actually give you the email address which you can click on and email to ASAP, or go to Twitter and message them through there. That's really nice. I think having that right at the top, saying like, hey, we know we're playtesting this is a quick start, please get in touch. I'm a big fan of that, just being that open to listen to feedback. Because sometimes, you don't see that, and you're not sure, you're like, I don't know if this works, etc. So, there you go. Well, alright, let's get started. So, we will need 4 to 5 people, including a facilitator. This is for the quick start. You'll also need 2 or 4 sessions to play. Okay, I'm seeing a trend nowadays about people doing stuff over 2 sessions rather than like a one-shot, which makes sense. Just so you can really explore it and maybe come back and think about stuff after you've had the break. So this quick start is built for a 4-session experience. But if you have less time, you can stop after the first match in session 2. So, choosing your sport. Before you play your first session, you'll need to choose a sport together. It's helpful to decide ahead of time so players can prepare. Fight with Spirit is designed to work with a wide variety of team sports. For this quick start, you will need to choose a sport where teams face off against each other at the same time. Great examples include hockey, basketball, soccer, volleyball, or even fantasy sports like Quidditch. Wow, I don't know what the hell pro bending is, but oh my god, Quidditch gets a bloody mention. I mean, to be fair, the Australian, presumably quad ball team now, they are pretty fucking excellent. So, just can't believe Quidditch got a mention. That's ridiculous. What is pro bending though? I'm gonna look that up. What is pro bending? Ignore me for like 2 seconds whilst I look that up. Is it going to be something dodgy that I don't want to have on stream? Bending. It's a... Oh. Oh, is this... Oh, it's an avatar thing. Pro bending is a popular underground sport originating in the Imperial City, involving 2 or 3 benders. Right, so it's a bit more fiction. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I understand now. Even fantasy sports, like Quidditch. Okay, they're talking about... like Harry Potter. I understand. They're talking about the books rather than actual Quidditch. That's how excited I got, because I was like, oh my god, because I did play Quidditch. So, right, so you could take sports from fantasy novels or sci-fi, etc., and make them into... That's pretty cool. I do like that. Anyway, sorry, I got way too excited about something. Oh, but I didn't know pro bending was like an avatar thing, so that's pretty cool as well. So almost like you could take a really small snippet of a particular world you like and really expand it. What's the there's that one in Final Fantasy, I want to say, oh, it's not 7, the other big one. The one that has the really awkward laughing scene. They have, it's like a water sport in that one. But not water sports, but they play that as well. Hated that game. Anyway, we aim to cover even more types of sport in the full game, including individual sports like fencing, as well as simultaneous sports like cheerleading. I was thinking even like Glee, you know, when they're sort of singing together. Alright, the facilitator. So when you play Fight with Spirit, one person will take on the role of the facilitator. Excuse me. The facilitator runs the game and helps everyone collaborate to build a shared story. They're not in charge of making up the story, this is something that all the players will do together. Facilitator plays a vital role in bringing the best out of the players and making sure the game feels like a sports drama. I do kind of wish it wasn't facilitator. I think it's the same in Good Society as well. It is called the facilitator for that, and I get it. But I don't know. I would like here, why not the referee? Why not the judge? You know, get those names right. So, as a facilitator, your job is to respect the decisions made in collaboration and foster a collaborative environment. Be responsible for structure and pacing. Ask questions and build on answers. Play rival teams during matches as well as some of the other supporting characters, and add drama and complications, but only if needed. Ooh, in the full version of the game, the facilitator will also be able to play a major character. But for now, enjoy the drama of playing rival teams. So that's interesting. It must be quite similar to Good Society then, where even the you can have a facilitator who plays like a major character. You know, if you want to play without a facilitator, that's interesting. So we also have each player will take on the role of a major character, the passionate athletes of your story. On top of that, players in Fight to Spirit will also play a secondary character and hold the ability to influence each of the storylines. Yes, because this is the thing. So they have major characters, major characters in Good Society, and then you play one of the connections of somebody else. So you never have a scene. You always have a scene with somebody else who might have some information or holds over you. But you'll never be in a scene with yourself. You know what I mean? So as a player, your job is to respect the decisions made in collaboration, foster a collaborative environment, take action to pursue your major character's desires and goals, explore your character through the highs and lows, contribute to the stories of other players, and support them even when your character is not directly. Alright, overview. So the quick start version of Fight Spirit tells the story of the Dockside Demons. Dockside Demons battling their way through Harbour City's regional tournament. As the game begins, the Demons have already secured a victory in the quarterfinals. During the game, they will face off with a rival team in the semi-finals, and if they win, they will advance to the grand finals and fight for ultimate victory. Fight with Spirit is designed to capture the essence and experience of an episodic sports show. To do this, it makes use of a structured flow of play. Each game of Fight with Spirit begins with a collaboration and backstory. Yeah, we've seen this with Society. So in collaboration, your group will decide what kind of story you'd like to tell. You will make decisions about the tone and the content of your story so that everyone is on the same page. And then in backstory, you'll define some details about your team. Then each player will create a major character and their connection. Together, you will explore their histories, relationships, missions, and role in the team. Then, after collaboration and backstory, your game will take place in a series of phases, arranged into a cycle of play. Each cycle of play approximately takes 2 sessions to complete. So, here's our cycle of play. We've got the opening credits of sort of the montage, essentially, of the opening of the episode. We have daily life, which is skipped in the first cycle, event, match, ending credits, and the upkeep, skipped in the last cycle. Nice. Okay. That's interesting. So if this takes 2, would you split it down the middle? So like the first session takes this, the first 3, and then the second session takes these 3? Oh, it's literally going to tell me here. So for our quick start version, we recommend you break up the flow of play in the following way. So session 1 is collaboration, backstory, opening credits, and event. Session 2 is semi-final match, ending credits, upkeep, and end here if it's just the second, if it's just a 2 session experience, and then we repeat again, but this time opening credits, the daily life section, event, grand final match, and ending credits. Very cool. Oh, look at this, and they've split them up to what you need in person and what you need online. So if you're playing in person, you'll need the following things, which is all available in the play materials: character sheets, connection sheets, team sheet, trait cards, match games, match deck, 3 kinds of tokens to represent spirit, fight, and setback. These will be included in the full game, and to play online, you will need a copy of this Google document, and for matches, you'll need a shared virtual space that you could deal and shuffle cards into, such as Roll20. Lurking while we record. Dead Toothbrush, you need to be record stuff. Don't be here. Go and record. Good to have you here, my friend. Hope you're doing okay. So yeah, now I opened this up earlier. Let me get rid of the pro bending. Let me see what it looks like. Is it gonna... Yeah, so this is what the sheet looks like. And so we can look at the collaboration. We can look at all the stuff together. So this is... And you can get this... I've made a copy of this for myself, but you can... If you go to... On the quick start, there's that linked, etc. And you can open the online play copy and copy it for yourself, and then be able to share it with your players and work together there. So we've got... You know what, let me move it so that everyone can see. So we've got the collaboration tab, so that's what we're going to start with. And then we're going to have the team tab, which is this. So this is the quick start version. Nice. With a little bit of information about the... Oh my god, it's got images in it as well. Oh, I've never seen that before. Holy shoot. They've actually put... I didn't know you could do that with Google Sheets. So a little bit of information there, and then we've got characters here as well. Oh, look at this. A great tracker. Love that. All right, well, we'll look at this as we go through the quick start. That sounds great. All right, let's put that down for now, and let's carry on. So to help players recap previous sessions, you may choose to start the sessions with previously on. Ask each player for a vignette showing a significant moment from the story so far. They can choose to add extra details or simply describe a moment that happened last session. Nice, I love that. I love that as a technique to get people involved in describing the what happened in play. Alright, so first up we've got the collaboration. This lets the players and the facilitator make important decisions about the tone and content of the story they would like to create. It gives all participants equal control over the game and helps them make sure that everyone feels comfortable during play. It's simple, quick, but essential. 100%. So your group will perform collaboration once at the start of each game. Work together to answer the questions on this page. Read each question in full before deciding so that all players understand the choice ahead. Keep a note of the group choices on the team's sheet. Collaborate. Oh god, it's so bright, that blue, isn't it? Collaboration is an agreement between all players, and everyone should feel comfortable speaking up if they feel something in play conflicts with that agreement. When a conflict is identified, the group should genuinely rewind the mismatch and replay the moment in a way that's more respectful of the collaboration. Rare exceptions to the collaboration are allowed, but only if they are unanimously agreed upon. Right. So, we've got the setting of Harbour City. Fight with Spirit is set in Harbour City, a large waterfront metropolis. Harbour City is a cultural melting pot with influences from all over the world. With more people arriving every year, the city is continuing to expand and change, especially in central areas like Dockside. Okay, that's a little bit of quick setting. It's maybe a little bit. All we get is that it's a water place. I'm thinking of like Cerulean City as a result. What heart will our story have? So, Fight with Spirit is a game about friendship, feelings, and the difficulty of growing up. This game focuses on changing relationships and capturing a moment when the future is unknown. It is better when you lean into the drama and complexity of the characters' lives. But picking a tone will help guide your group to explore that drama in a way that's fun for everyone. So together, choose a heart for this game. We've got 3 options. We've got a free heart, troubled heart, and a heavy heart. The free heart, hopes and dreams lie ahead waiting for us. The world is filled with possibility, and even in our darkest moments we know we can find our way together. That's at one end of the spectrum. I guess at the other end, a heavy heart, dark, grim, passionate and angry. The world is hostile and unkind. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it fades easily from view. Sports. Maybe you could do like proper Blood Bowl-esque type stuff in this. And then in the middle we've got a troubled heart. Knowing what you want is not so easy, and getting it is even harder. We are our own worst enemies. Can we battle through our feelings? Get that anime sort of music going on at the end. So that's the first question. The second question is, how much depth will there be in our stories, in our sports descriptions? We've got a little depth, moderate depth, or a lot of depth. A little depth. We will try our best to describe the characters playing sport, but we won't worry about the accuracy and may give more of an impression than specific detail. Versus a lot of depth, we will describe in detail the characters playing sport and spend time focusing on sport-specific strategies, tactics and techniques. We will commit to arming ourselves with relevant knowledge so we can achieve this. Or do we want to go moderate depth? We will try our best to describe characters playing sport and spend a bit of time lingering on the sports aspects of a match. Physicality of the sport is important to us, but we won't stop the game to find out the details. Details we don't know. I think, yeah, this totally makes sense. It goes back to like when you play Good Society. It asks about how historically accurate would you like to be in this game. I think here, if I'm playing a sports drama RPG, I do think by default it has to be moderate depth, just to get that interest. Because I'd love to think about that a little bit, and so it would encourage me to look up more stuff as well. Oh my god, I need a blood sports AP of this immediately. I guess you can have a fantasy game, don't you? Oh no. So I think that could work. I definitely think moderate depth. It doesn't matter. You won't need default ones, but I think by default, I think it would just be good because then it's something everyone can look away and research and maybe look up teams and stuff. I think something that you can do quite easily. Darts teams. There you go. You could do something like that. Probably not for this game. So, will our game centre on high school or college sports? So, high school, our characters will be in high school, so grades between 10 to 12, so ages 15 to 18, or we're doing college and university where they're going to be 18 to 24. I'm always going to refer to be older, just so we don't get into any trickiness with 15 to 18. But it is designed to tell both high school and college sports stories. I guess then obviously the audience then changes a little bit as well. So it's not just for adults. It could be a younger audience as well, which is good. I like that. What do we want to avoid in our game? So it gives us a chance to outline anything we don't want to see in the game. For example, racism, homophobia, and abusive coaches. Well, when you think about various sports documentaries and you hear about coaches treating players poorly, yeah, absolutely. Keep that out of the game. This is your story together, and you have the power to... Oh, stop that. You have the power to exclude content that makes you feel uncomfortable. And then on the flip side of that is what we want to see in our game. Each player should contribute something they are looking forward to seeing in the game. So, for example, a team breakfast, heated showdown with a rival, or tense practice match. You can use these ideas for what may happen in the story. Yes, love that. Love that a lot. Ooh. Alright, so that's collaboration on one page. Nice, nice, nice. And I guess we could fill this up. I go to... have it up. We look at the collaboration. So this is where we would put it all if we're doing it all on one page. So I think it's got the actual... it's got the already in sort of the default options. So together we've chosen a game of a troubled heart, moderate depth. We would choose what it was, what we want to avoid, what we want to see in the game. Oh look, we've got wishes there as well. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, I've lost the tab. There we go. So next on to backstory. This is the part 2 of the character, the sort of setup process. So this is a step-by-step process that must be done with the entire group present. You may walk through the game with a general idea of the type of character you'd like to play, but save deciding on any specifics until you've gone through the steps below with other players in your game. We have 5 steps. We've got choose a team and answer the team questions, choose traits for your major character, form team relationships by answering trait questions, flesh out the characters, then create and assign connections. Dead straightforward. Dead straightforward? Easy, dead straightforward. By default, Fight with Spirit is played with mixed gender teams. Yes! Thank you! If you'd like to play another way, make sure everyone agrees before backstory begins. I think, yeah, it's nice to have the option. But thank God. So tired of, like, people not playing with certain other people because of this. So in the backstory, you choose your team. In this quick start, you just got one playable team, which is the Dockside Demon. They've had it rough for the last couple of years and now looking to make their comeback. Each major character will be a member of the Demons, though they may feel differently about the team's past and together work your way through the next page to understand the Dockside Demons and customize the team for your game. Read each section aloud and then answer the questions as they come up on the team sheet. Alright. Oh, I also like this. At the bottom, it shows you... I can't click onto them, unfortunately, but it shows you where we are in the backstory. Nice. I love the logo. Heck yeah. Dockside Demons, the Fallen Camps. So, your fallen team. Once your school was the powerhouse of the region, but in recent years you've been here, you've never even made it to the finals. For years your school has been bleeding talent, funding and passion to new schools opening up in the area. You know what the other teams say about you. The talk about how far you've fallen. Last year your team captain couldn't even bring themselves to enter you into a major tournament. Oh no! Your comeback is now. This year, things are different. Since the day school began, you and your teammates practiced your hearts out and gave it your all to make the team the best it can be. You proudly show your face again at the Harbour City Regional Tournament and have made it through the first rounds, knocking out your early opponents. Now you've reached the semi-finals and many eyes are on your team for the first time in years. Now you'll show them all your back and better than ever. Right, I've got school colours, so it's gold and blue. Your coach is, we've got to pick one of these things. We've got a former player from the Dockside's glory days, an ex-pro who's mysteriously retired, an old-timer seeking revenge on last year's winners, a supervising teacher who really doesn't know the sport, or we don't have one. Ooh, I love it. Your school, pick one. It's cramped classroom towers right in the middle of the city. Old sandstone, choppy waters. Parts of the school have been sold. Oh no! Outdated buildings, abandoned demountables. Demountables. No air conditioning. All right. Okay. So we're getting like a picture. We're building up that sort of background stuff. So, oh, we've got rivals. Oh heck, the South Beach Sharks, rising newcomers. Until last year, South Beach didn't even have a team, but everything changed when passion and strong will collided. They say an elite player arrived at the school and grew the team from nothing. The Demons will face the Sharks in the semi-finals. And then we've got the Ash Point Arrows, the reigning powerhouse. The Arrows have taken out the finals every year since you were in middle school. They are determined to continue their legacy and don't intend to let their winning streak end. If the Demons win the semi-finals, they will face the Arrows in the grand finals. Both the South Beach Sharks and the Ash Point Arrows will be playable teams in the full version of the game, along with several more rival teams, each with their own story, abilities, and unique game matches. So we're going to choose the relationship with each of the rival teams. So we've got practice partner, local kids, big champs, destined rivals. So practice partner, you've played this team so many times, you know them inside out. Will it be different when it's the real thing? Local kids, you live near each other and many of you played on the same middle school team. Old friendships and grudges still simmer. Big champs, you've only seen this school on TV or in magazines. Still, you have to take them on if you want to get to the top. And finally, destined rivals. Your schools used to play every year when you were both at your peak. Now, you hear they look down on you. Ooh, dear oh dear. Team special, Demons under ire. People say a lot of things about your team. Which ones gets your team the most? Wait, which ones get to your team the most? Each player contributes one and record all of these on the team special section of your team sheet. Oh, it's just like a collaboration thing. So a rumor or rubbish that gets talked about you. Okay. Your team during the game. So as your characters change and grow during the game, so your team. Look out for the following points during the game. So we've got demons under ire. Talk about the dockside demons is always changing. In the upkeep phase, choose together which comment the demons under ire is no longer being said about your team. Or it's like the rumor and scandal phase in Good Society. Erase this comment. Then decide on one new thing, good or bad, people are saying about the demons as a result of the game's events so far. Write this on your team sheet instead. And then we've got match game unlock. Each time a demon's starting trait is completed, fill in one box on the team track. When you fill in the first box, you will unlock the unique demons match game, Biting Words. Take the match game and shuffle it into the match. Take the match game and shuffle it into the match game pile before the next match. In the full version, you will unlock more games as the team track gets filled. Okay, so it's like a progress track thing. You unlock more stuff for your team as you go. Nice. Alright, so now we're coming up to major characters. So each player in Fight with Spirit takes on the role of a major character. Major characters have 3 components: their team, their traits, and their connections. In the full version of the game, we aim to include a 4th component, a unique playing style that influences the character's sporting abilities. Okay. So after you've answered a few questions about your team, the next part of backstory is choosing a character's traits. Traits are at the heart of your character and define important details about their dreams, ambitions, relationships, and life circumstances. Each major character will start the game with 2 traits. They will complete these over the course of the game to earn spirit, which boosts their match performance. Traits are unique, and only one character may have each trait. At the core of each trait is a drive, a goal, desire, or motivation that will drive the character and the story forward. If you're unsure what to do during play, pursuing a drive is always a good idea. Pursuing drives is not only how your character moves towards their goals, but is also how they complete their traits and earn spirit for the matches ahead. So here's what they look like underneath. A little bit so we can see. So we've got the name of the trait here, the drive underneath. So the name of the trait is our new captain. The drive is heal divisions within the team or pull rank and put your foot down. You complete this and earn 1 spirit. You've been waiting for so long to take this team into your own hands. Time to fix the mistakes of those who come before you. And then a question. Who have you taken under your wing? A question that connects your character to another major character or connection. Traits in orange create relationships to the other major characters, while traits in pink describe your relationship with connection. And then we've got some backstory questions to define more detail about your character. So here we've got, what past mistake are you determined to fix? What worries you the most about your new role? Alright. So choosing traits. Ooh. Take traits numbered 1 to 5. These are starting traits for the Dockside Demons. Each player should choose one of the 5 Dockside Demon traits for their character. And these traits will raise the stakes for the characters as part of the Dockside Demons and tie them into the story of Fallen Champions. Once each character has chosen their first trait, they can move on to choose their second trait. They can pick any of the remaining traits for their character within the demon's traits that's not been picked in the first round. However, players must have at least 1 trait with an orange relationship question. They should pick a trait that adds a new aspect or side to their character. When everyone is chosen, players should introduce their traits so they can begin to get an understanding of each other's characters. Do not answer any of the questions on the traits yet. You'll do that later. In the full version of the game, there are more than 30 traits. A quick setup. So we've got some examples here for a quick setup. I don't like this blue. I'm so sorry. Wish it was still in blue, or just a little bit of a darker blue. So we've got 2 options. We've got these 5 options if we're having a 5-player game. We've got 1 to 4, 1 to 5, sorry, and then the 6 to 10 moves around. In this, form relationships. So in this step, players will form their relationships between their major characters by answering the orange questions on each other's traits. Each trait with an orange question will create a relationship with between the owner of the trait and one other major character. Write these relationships down in the relationships section of your character sheet. Traits with pink questions will create relationships with connections, so put these aside for now. Start with each player choosing an orange question on another player's trait to form a connection between their characters. Then answer any remaining orange questions. At the end of this process, each major character should have formed a relationship with at least 2 other major characters, one from their own trait and one from another person's trait. Right. They may also have formed additional relationships with other orange trait questions. The process of forming relationships should always be a collaborative one, with players openly discussing which options they believe will work best. Let's move on. We'll come to this bit in a second. The images. Next, we flesh out our major characters. We do this by answering the backstory questions on their trait cards and filling in the character sheet. Whilst doing this, players should also think about their major character's personality, past, and ambitions. Why did they choose to come to Dockside? Why did they play this sport? What is their family situation? Ooh. Players can share ideas and work together during this process, especially if they have a shared relationship. Players may also need to determine the meaning of and the events surrounding their relationship. Why did Lily and Quinn become such good friends? How did Max and Ahmed's relationship fall apart when Max left the team? Oh, it's terrible, terrible news. At the end of this step, players should also introduce their major characters in full. Ask questions to encourage players to elaborate on their character's personality and relationship. Players should now have a good understanding of the story's major. Yes, absolutely. Gosh, very orange. Alright, so let's look at this this image here. It doesn't have any information on it. I guess this is just the character sheet here. And I guess, hang on, I'm going to zoom. Oh, I probably do have it somewhere. Why don't I just actually look to see if I've actually got this? Of course I've got it. It's going to be on the Google sheet. Hey, I'm absolutely messing around, aren't I? Try this again. Right. So on the, maybe I'll get up the. So we've got the team. So this is where the information of the team, and we can decide our relationships with our team. Is fine. And there's our special. And then, oh, it's already done for you. How good is this? All these traits are done. Ask the question. Oh, look at. All right, hang on. Let me do it on the one you can actually. You can see they're all here as well. In terms of quick start, there's the connections. Cool. I'm going to see if I can find the actual character sheet in person. See if we can get. There we go. All right, I can see it. You guys cannot see. There you go. Right. First of all, I don't like that purple. I don't like the purple at all. It's a bit hard on the eyes. And I don't think the orange works either. But anyway, let's see what we've got. We've got the name, we've got pronouns, who it's played by, what our age is, what position we are on the team. I'm guessing here is your release. Oh, from my traits, from teammates' traits. Right. So this is from my 2 traits, I will possibly get bonds with other people, and then I get these from other people here. So it splits up like that. Okay, that's fine. Right, isn't it? And I'll be honest, I do quite like this squared paper look for the background of notes because it makes me feel very much like high school, like math stuff. I don't know. Why would you have square? Unless you're going to, more notes on it. And what we've got over here, we've got examples of like rules mechanics, which we'll come up to, I guess. Oh, some match moments, that's good. Energy, connection, prowess, and yet. And then presumably these are your traits you put at the top. Bit of information, and then click as compete. And one on the spirit team. I see. This is this team spirit trait, which everyone will get, and then these other 2 traits will be the ones. At the purple, and I know. I guess the problem is it is a printed version of it. So there's no, I would have to use that online version to edit it and like write stuff in it. I think you could just have a black and white version. But unless here. That's not what is it? Anyway, I just think having the image there of it is absolutely it's not filled in or anything like that. Alright, connections. So the second part of this, once you've played once you created those major characters, which is very straightforward, those major characters, we look at connections. These are supporting characters that hold significant influence over the lives, happiness, and hearts of major characters they're attached to. Major characters may love or hate their connections, but their influence cannot be denied. So in good society, that's a Jane Austen thing. It could be the aunt that you are living with, and you might not like your aunt, but you're staying with her. You have to stay with her. She's got control of your inheritance or something like that. Many of these connections will be members of rival teams that the major characters will face during the game. So how do we create them? So we'll each create 2 connections for their major character. During the game, these connections will be created by other players or controlled, by other players or by the facilitator. We'll do it in this following priority. So any player that has traits with a pink question, player must create a connection for them. Each player must create at least 1 connection that plays for a rival team. This person should still be important to the major character beyond simply playing for an opposite team. For their second connection, players can choose to create a rival from a different team or someone else who is important in their major character's life. For example, another teammate in the Demons, a parent, or an older sibling who has gone pro. No matter how they come into your character's lives, connections should be people who are particularly important to your character. For example, they shouldn't just be a member of a rival team, but the rival that your character hates the most, the rival who is your character's childhood friend, or maybe even the rival your character is secretly dating. Yes. If your player creates a connection that does not share a meaningful relationship with their major character, invite them to think about how the connection might be a bit more involved in their life. Here's an example here of a connection card. The pink actually stands out a little bit more, but we've got Priyanka Aurora, who's the South Beach Sharks. Position is the wingback. Their relationship is to Lily, Lily's childhood friend. Lily is going to waste notes. What's that notes? Lives 2 doors down from Lily and played together in the same junior high school soccer team. Plays for the Sharks on a full scholarship and doesn't intend to let herself be underestimated. And who she's being played by is Tammy the other. So, to create a connection, fill out their details on a connection sheet, include their name, pronouns, team position if it's relevant, school year or age, relationship to your major character, the opinion of your major character, and any notes you'd like to add about them. Connections are not the major characters of the story that you'll be creating and do not necessitate. They aren't as the same level of development or importance or attention. They do not necessitate. There you go. You have to have a run up for it. They do not necessitate the same level of development or attention. Their primary function is to be plot devices, enabling the struggles of the major characters to be better explored. I think this is an important one because I remember playing a Good Society game and somebody really enjoyed playing their connection too much, and it was like, hey, that's not the main, they're not the major character, and it's tricky because the person they've created was a great 2D character, but they didn't really have as bigger impact, I felt. Anywho, we've also got assigning connections. Each player selects one of the other player's connections to play and control in the game. Players should choose a connection that has no initial or obvious relation to their own major character. When you choose a connection, take the connection sheet and fill out your name in the played by section, so yeah, as we see. The remaining connections, once this is all divvied up, will be played by the facilitator. The facilitator can also step in and play connections controlled by other characters as needed. Nobody wants to talk to themselves. I beg to differ. During a match, the facilitator may also temporarily take control of a connection in order to describe the action. During the game, players can use connections they control to complicate the lives of major characters. If a player or the facilitator wishes to use a connection they control to make significant change to the story, they must use a setback token. These, I get it now. These tokens are going to be the mechanics. Totally makes sense. The rules for using setbacks are outlined on the degree to which you include any particular connection in your game is up to you. One connection may be fully fleshed out and be an important part of a major character's achieving their traits drive. Another connection may only appear for a brief moment in the final match of the game. Some may not even appear at all. The connections are tools to be used, so do not feel as if they must have some screen time. However, if you can think of a way that would make the game more interesting, you should definitely bring them into play. Final steps we've got. So everyone should have a completed character sheet, 2 traits with all the backstory questions answered, the connection sheet of all the connections they'll be playing, and tokens for 1 setback, 1 flight, and 1 spirit. And the facilitator starts with 2 setback tokens. Now, question: that's just in total for yourself, or do you get that for both your character and the connection? Because in Good Society, you get the tokens, the resolve tokens, not only for your major character but also for your connection sheet. And I see the facilitator probably is always going to deal with setback tokens. Alright, we're going to move on to the rules of play now. So, when you play Fight with Spirit, you will create a sports story with your friends. These rules outline the tools you will need to help you tell that story. And this section will explain the rules you'll need to know throughout play. In addition to using the normal rules of the game, matches use a very specific set of rules on their own, and these are explained later in the matches. So we're creating a story together. It is a highly collaborative game. The facilitator in this game is not the traditional GM. They have no special narrative abilities, aside from playing rival teams during matches. Their role is to help everyone work together and keep the game progressing. Responsibility for creating story and drama is shared equally among everyone at the table. Players are responsible for taking action to achieve their characters' goals, whether they derive from their traits, relationships, or circumstances. This means they'll get to make plot twists, events, and amazing sport moments just because they think it will be an awesome part of someone else's story. We'll come to the consent. Trait drives. Every major character has 2 or more traits. Traits determine a lot of your character's circumstances, history, and relationship. However, there are also one more very important component. They also have one more very important component: a drive. A trait's drive is a goal, desire, or motivation that will drive the character and the story. The character should act on their drive and resolve it during the game. When your trait drive is resolved, that trait is complete. And these resolve in mostly one of 2 ways. As you play through the game, it will become clear to you which one of these fits better with the story that you are telling and the character you have created. You may only know this in the very scene that your trait becomes resolved, or it may become apparent ahead of time. When a trait drive is resolved, that trait is complete. It is up to the player to decide when this is the case. During upkeep, so it's at the end of the cycle, you will be you'll be prompted to think about whether or not your trait has been complete. When you complete a trait, mark it on your character sheet and remove the card. Then immediately take one spirit. The spirit will help you help your character during matches. You know what? I understand now. You would put the actual cards that you get, physical cards, here on the sheet. I think the only thing I'd say with that is maybe I would make it so that you could cut like a line to cut out like a little pocket essentially, and so that you could hold them in. Perhaps I will absolutely lose that stuff. But let's go over here and we'll go down at the bottom. So, when can I complete my traits? You can complete your traits at any time during the game, including mid-match. However, you may wish to complete your trait before or early on in the final match so you can make most of the spirit, or make use of the spirit. Conditions. So when a trait is complete, the feelings it engenders, good or bad, may still linger. In the full version of when your character completes a trait, they can choose to take a condition. Your character will then work through the condition to explore the emotional form. Oh, cool! I like that. So, gosh, that was bright. Consent and player comfort. Consent is important since players have the power to take the story in any direction they wish, within the bounds of collaboration decisions. There's a specific mechanic for managing consent when setback tokens are involved. However, your players should always be respectful of each other, even when their characters aren't. If you're not sure whether you have another player's consent, just ask. There is no substitute for free and open conversation. Ask, what do you think? Or, is that okay with you? If you see the player's consent being ignored or overridden, step in at an appropriate time. Dialogue. Hell yeah, what a nice way of putting it as well. There is no substitute for free and open conversation. Absolutely. Wish it wasn't blue though. So bright. Alright. So, what is this I hear about setback tokens? Well, setback tokens are a key way that players and the facilitator can contribute to each other's stories and also gain fight to build up an advantage for the match ahead. Each player starts with one setback token. The facilitator starts with 2 setback tokens. During the game, players and the facilitator will offer setback tokens to the other players to create complications for that character. The receiving player then trades the setback token for a fight token. Fueled by facing down the setbacks against them, they can use this fight to their advantage during a match or in their daily lives. The setback tokens become easy to understand once you've seen one being used. When you're facilitating, try and spend a setback token towards the beginning of play so everyone can see how they work. As the name suggests, setback tokens are used to create setbacks for other major characters. They cannot be offered to connections. Right, so this is that thing before when I was talking about setback tokens, how many you it is just you yourself have them. You have the pool. I understand. When you want to create a setback, you will always have to enter a setback negotiation before the complication becomes part of the story. A setback can be anything that complicates the lives of the major characters. These setbacks can relate to the trait drives of the major characters, or be otherwise impactful on their lives. However, setbacks must be significant to the story. You cannot use a setback token to create a setback with no real effect. Whether a setback is significant to the story will often depend on its context. For example, a traffic jam is not usually a setback that is significant to the story, but a traffic jam that causes a character to run late to a national team tryouts is definitely significant. Setbacks will make the lives of the major characters more complicated, but they don't always have to be directly harmful or end badly. For example, a character's offer from a rival team is revealed, it will definitely create a complication. But once the hard conversation is over, their teammates may come to accept or even support them. Remember, it's good to create setbacks for other major characters. Creating setbacks will give other players fight tokens which they will use for an advantage in the match or to make things go their way. So, this is what the process is for the negotiations. So, when you use the setback token, you are creating a complication in the life of another major character. For this reason, it's important to check with the player of that major character first. The way you check in when you play Fight Spirit is called a setback negotiation. When you enter in a negotiation, it's important not to pressure the other player to accept, but rather just outline your idea. So it's got 3 steps. I offer the token to the major character affected, stating exactly what the setback they want to occur. There's one of 3 ways you can respond. You either accept the token, accept it with conditions, or refuse it. If the token is accepted, the setback takes place. The player who accepted the token immediately trades it for a fight token. If the token is accepted with conditions, the player must say yes, but only if, and then state a narrative condition under which they will accept the setback. Setback and the stated condition both take place. The player who accepted the token then can trade it for a fight token, and then if it's refused, it does not take place. The token does not change hands. But the offering player may still propose a different option. Yeah, dead straightforward. Even though a setback token is played on just one character, it may also have an impact on other characters. If you must ask and receive permission from another player before you play your setback token if it has a negative impact on their major character, or compels the major character or connection they play to do or feel something. In these cases, the player of the other character can opt to say no, in which case you'll need to think of another. Oh, that's so bright, that blue, isn't it? There's some examples here. I'm not gonna. Again, it's fairly straightforward. That I will say, like, some of it I think is really worded very well. Some of it I'm like, oh, we're repeating ourselves so much. Anyway, setback ideas. So there's two ways to create setbacks for other characters. So using your major character or connection, suggesting events or circumstances that complicate their lives. Excuse me. So the easiest way is to create a setback through the actions of your major character or the connection you control. To do this, think, how can my characters create a problem for another major character, or create a complication in the path of achieving their trait drive? How can I be a person that causes problems on purpose? To bring the setback to life, you can either set a scene around the idea, or take advantage of another scene where your characters both appear. Example here. We also have creating setbacks through events or circumstances. So you can do this, think what might happen here that could create a problem for another major character or create a complication in the path of achieving their trait drive. To bring the setup to life, wait for the right moment and then politely interrupt the scene and offer your... Okay. So, using your fight tokens to get ahead. So once you face a setback, you will have a fight token at your disposal. Most of the time, you'll save these tokens to add a +1 to any card value during the match. You have a few. However, there are times that you want to spend your fight tokens to get ahead outside of a match. So you can do this either for your character to achieve something difficult or unlikely, or to create new events or circumstances that benefit your character. This can include examples such as scoring a goal during practice, winning a pickup match against a rival, or getting top marks in an exam. You must ask and receive permission from another player before you play your fight token if it has a negative impact on their major character, compels them to do or feel something. In these cases, the player of the other character can opt to say no, in which case you need to think of another idea. Yep, absolutely, I understand. Alright, let's go then to rules. Cycle of play, hooray, we're at the cycle. Alright. We're getting there, aren't we? Some of the wording has changed in the full version. I think there's more editing done after this quick start version. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. I think this came out August 2021. It's very I think it's a first version of it, right? It's the first thing going like the setback does this and the setback, like the thing is though, I think I'm lucky in the fact that I've read Good Society, and so a lot of this is just taking these ideas and putting it into this new sort of format and just changing it ever so slightly. So like I totally understand this whole negotiation thing, and I think the thing we had with Good Society, excuse me, was that often it was very hard to know when to use your resolve tokens for stuff, and people used to get like, oh, but is this not changing the story too much? And ultimately my sort of, obviously here it's like, oh, this is going to be, it's about consent thing, which I totally get. For me, these setback tokens, these player intrusions, right? I think they're very obvious if you've done a couple of games. Like something will happen to you, but you gain a benefit from it. And maybe it's a little bit more because the genre's like, oh, you're going to be late for practice. You're not going to make the match. Maybe it's a bit more obvious what things could be with the changes. I guess with the resolve tokens in Good Society, it's changing the actual world around you, not just an event happens to harm your character. I do value like, hey, consent is important, but it does feel a bit like hammering it home personally. But it doesn't surprise me, like you said, that some of the wording has changed in the full version. So, makes sense. Alright, we are on to the penultimate section of Cycle of Play. So, it's played in Cycle of Plays, which contains the following phases below. Opening credits, daily life, event, match, ending credits, then upkeep. Let's see. I wonder if we can find the actual version. Game match. No. Team sheet. Have. Oh, it's a team sheet. That one. I'm gonna open it up. Just see. There we go. Blue. Pretty bright, isn't it? Ah, but look at the bottom there. It's got the actual cycle on it. Oh, cool. So everyone can see that easily. And that's where you have the collaboration stuff on there as well. All the information there, and then, yeah, cycle. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, so. You can use the cycle of play track at the bottom of your team sheet as reference for each phase, and mark your progress through the cycle as you play. So, let's start with opening credits. Every TV show or anime starts with opening credits. It is a short phase of a game run by the facilitator. During this phase, the facilitator and the characters and the players will create an opening credits of their sports show. Think of each moment during the phase as a snapshot that flashes onto screen during the opening. I'm gonna sneeze. I was gonna sneeze. No. During this section, feel free to introduce any visuals that they feel like would fit into the opening credits of your story. Remember, they don't have to make sense. They exist to capture the vibe of the characters and mood of the story. And they 100% do not have to appear in the story either. Think about any anime opening you've ever watched and you've gone, I don't know who that person is. And they turn up like right at the end for like 2 seconds. Alright, so to run the opening credits, the facilitator should introduce the start of the opening credits with 1 or 2 visuals that reflect the story. For example, a school gymnasium, a match in motion, or even a ball being picked up by one of the major characters. Choose a snapshot from the A list. Ask each of the players to describe that snapshot for their major character. Then, do it from the B list. And optional, end the opening credits with a visual that introduces the episode's title. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. So we've got. I hope these are longer in the core book. A snapshot of your character playing with intense focus. A snapshot of your character going all out in a match. A snapshot of your character trying something new during practice. A snapshot of your character in their daily life. A snapshot of your character preparing for a match. A snapshot of your character doing something they love. Oh, I like those. Those are quite. There's a nice enough prompts to go on, but yeah, I need a few more of those. Like, snapshot of your character falling on their face, swearing revenge. And this is just an example for straightforward so far. Alright, next up in the phases we've got daily life. Was the character's life outside of the matches. It captures important events and changing relationships as time passes between one match and the next. During this phase, players will take turns initiating scenes and vignettes to explore the lives of major characters. Each player has 2 turns. One of these turns must be a scene and the other must be a vignette. I will say, every so often I do think that I want to say vinaigrette, and that's not what it is. A player's scene and a vignette must involve their major character or a connection. That's quite fun, playing connections. Facilitator may also choose to initiate a scene or a vignette in order to complicate the characters' lives and add to the story. Your group may choose to centre the daily life phase around a particular event, such as training camp, joint school practice, or a local festival. In this case, the players can still set scenes and vignettes before, during, and after this event, but it will be at the heart of this daily life phase. Oh, excuse me. When initiating a scene or a vignette, players choose from the following options. These are listed on the character sheets. Take an action towards your freight drive. Complicate someone else's life. Offer a setback to. Show the busyness. Busyness? Maybe I'm thinking of business. Show the busyness of life or your daily routine. Explore a private moment. Vignette only. Here we go. Setting up a vignette or monologue about a hope or fear. In motion, a vignette or a monologue about a difficult question. Packing up. Vignette or monologue about changing. Ooh, I like that. I guess my question is, doesn't currently. I'm sure it's going to say as soon as I move over. Currently, I would assume that a scene has to involve It has to involve two people, your major character and someone else, whether it's another major character or a connection, etc. And a vignette is just you narrating it, maybe third person or whatever. It's not made clear that. For me, a vignette could be like, yeah, I assume it's like like a montage. That's me. What it was like. Oh, yeah, they're doing all their stuff. They're studying for exams, etc. I think just to make that clear. Alright, then we've got event. So the event phase explores a single time-bound event such as a local dance, sports scholarship function, or local fundraiser. By deciding on your event, then describing the atmosphere and jump into play. The event you choose should be broad enough to include all the major characters as well as important rival team members if yes, this is very, again, I keep going back to Good Society, but that is my only basis on this. When you're doing the sort of play chapters, there's like 3 different kinds you can do. You can do it like a visitation where you go and visit everyone, or like in a major event one, or a split screen one. It totally makes sense here that you'd have an event version. So in the event phase, players will take action to pursue their major characters' drives, explore their relationships, and where appropriate, play the connections to complicate their lives. This phase is a great time to explore the relationship between major characters and rival teams outside of a match. Players can also introduce setbacks to give their team members more fight against the match ahead. While this phase takes place at a single event, you do not need to play through the entire event, and not all characters need to be the focus of at the same time. Players can ask for moments if they would like to see involving the major character or connection. So for example, 2 childhood friends talk by the buffet table, or a rival issues a secret challenge on a balcony. The facilitator asks questions, guides play, and can set scenes of their own. They also decide when the event. Fancy canapes. Alright, and then we've got match. So here, grab your gear, it's time for the big match. Match phases are at the heart of Fight with Spirit and are likely to take almost an entire session. This will be the part 2 of this particular. So during matches, the relationships and emotions explored in the previous phases come to a head and spill out into sports. Only one team can find victory and make it through the next round of the tour. Matches are divided into 3 sections, but the pre-match, match, and post-match. Each of these sections take place on match day. Pre- and post-match sections operate using the usual rules of Fight with Spirit, whilst the match section uses its own specific match rules. So in pre-match, we've got it's match day. Each player, including the facilitator, has the chance to set one scene they would like to see before the match begins. This could be during morning preparations or immediately before the match. The scene must involve their major character or a connection they control. Players can pass if there is no scene they wish to see, but should be encouraged to set one. Setback and fight tokens can be played as usual during this section. And then we've got the match rules, which are going to be explained in a little bit. Next 4 pages even. And then we've got the whistle blows. The match is over and a winner has been decided. In this section, each player has the chance to set one scene they would like to see after the match is over. This can be immediately after the match, or events take place later that day into the afternoon or evening. The scene must involve their major character or a connection. Setback and fight tokens can be played as usual during. Ending credits. This is a short phase of the game run by the facilitator. It must be the same as opening credits. The facilitator and players will create the end credits of their sports show. The end credits are usually a reflective time to celebrate quieter moments in the character's life. Think of each moment during this phase as a snapshot that splashes onto the screen. During this section, feel free to introduce any visuals that feel like they fit in an ending credits to your story. So, facilitators should introduce the end credits with 1 or 2 visuals that reflect the episode. Choose a snapshot from the C list. Ask each player to describe that snapshot for their major character, and then wrap up the end credits with a visual that foreshadows the next episode. Ooh. So, C list, a snapshot of your character doing something relaxing. A snapshot of your character enjoying an everyday joy. A snapshot of your character reflecting on the match. Yeah, you need a few more there, but again, it's the quick start, isn't it? What? Reflecting on the match, crying. I can't believe it. I didn't win. Alright, and then we've got upkeep. Between each cycle is an upkeep phase, which refreshes the game for the next cycle. Upkeep consists on 5 steps. So use any unspent setback tokens. So if any player has any idea how they would like to use a setback token, but didn't have a chance to do so in the rest of the cycle, they can spend it now. Frame a scene or vignette around the complication, or simply resolve it through refresh the setback tokens so everyone increases their numbers to 2, regardless of how many they have left. Oh, no. Check for any completed drives. If anyone has completed, they take 1 spirit and mark their trait as complete on their cred sheet. They can complete their traits during any phase, but upkeep provides a good opportunity if they've forgotten. Progress the team's special, so talk about the dockside demons is always changing, and so this is where we use that comment, that rumor scandal thing. And then review the collaboration. I think this is super important. This so review that collaboration that you made at the start of the game. Is there anything you'd like to change? Is there anything you'd like to see more of? Less? Once you've done it, upkeep is over, and this is a good time to end the sessions. Start again the next session at the beginning of the cycle with the opening credits. Amazing. See, dead straightforward in terms of that cycle of play. It feels like there's a lot less work than in there's a cycle. There's a lot less sections than in Good Society. The problem with Good Society is that basically it's 2 types of steps, 2 types of the same steps essentially. So it doubles the amount of stuff you have to do in 1 cycle. Whereas here, it totally makes sense just to do it once and keep going. So I do like that. Puts it down, it makes it quite easy. Alright, let's look at these match-specific rules. So, the whistle blows. It is time for the match to begin. Matches in Fight with Spirit take place through a series of match games. Each match game is worth 1 point, except for the opener and final moments. If the demons win the game, they get the point. If they lose, the point goes to the opposing team. The team with the most points at the end of the match is the victor. Interspersed between match games are match moments, short scenes that highlight the tensions that have come to a head during. Lots of very brooding images here. Let's see. Victory is never assured, and there is a chance that the Dockside Demons lose the semi-final match. If this happens, pick up the story at a semi-final match of a tournament later that year. A last chance to prove themselves. The daily life and event phases between the 2 matches will cover the months and that pass between tournaments. I like that. Good. Cool. The match setup. So before you can jump into a match, you'll need to do a little bit quick setup. So if you're playing in person, we shuffle the match deck and place it within reach. Place the opener, final moments, and 1 last chance match games next to the match deck. Shuffle the remaining match games together into 1 pile, including biting words if it is unlocked, and place them in the middle of the table. Place the first 3 match games front side up in an array in front of the players. If this is your first game, place Look at Me Now, Team Combo, and On My Own in the array to start with. Okay. If you're playing online, you'll need a platform such as Roll20 to allow players to draw cards from an uploaded deck. You can use the files in the online play materials. So that is fine. It actually goes through a whole load of detail. Again, I'm already looking forward to actually like maybe I should submit this to something to run for someone. I'm like the idea of like doing a story. It is a little bit of setup. That's the only thing. But I guess once you've got it, I just wonder if there's anything else that you weren't using Roll20 for. We all know Roll20 is not the best. That's personally me speaking. So, match flow. We've got the structure below, so we've got the opener. Repeat for however number of players for the match game and match moment, and then the final moments, or if tied, 1 last chance. Matches always start with a match game called the opener, and you will usually end with final moments. If the 2 teams are on equal points after the last player match game, final moments is replaced with the match game 1 last chance to break the tie. During the course of the match, each player will choose one match game and set 1 match moment. These do not need to follow one another. Players may go in any order so long as the match structure is maintained and so follows the story. Oh, interesting. The facilitator does not choose a match moment or set a match moment. Instead, they play the rival team and help keep the match flowing smoothly. The facilitator also runs the opening and closing match game. Players always choose their match games from the three available in the. Once it has been chosen, immediately place the top game in the match with the top game in the match map. Right? Yes. Yeah. You replace it instantly. I get it. They may choose the match. They can choose their match moment from the available list, which can be found on the. Whilst a match game is in progress, fight tokens may only be used to adjust the value of match cards, and setback tokens may not be used at all. However, setback and fight tokens can be played as usual during match. Okay. Match cards. They're match games, right? Match game, yeah. Match game, use match cards. Possibly. I'm gonna have to look at that video tutorial on time. So, at the heart of each match are match games. The quick start includes 10 different match games, but the full version will include more than 20 to choose. They will also include rival match games that give you an insight on the match from the other team's perspective and make later tournament rounds more challenging. Each match will always start with the opener and end with the final moments or one last chance. In the middle, each player will choose one match game to spotlight their major character during the match. Match games consist of instructions that the players can follow from beginning to end. Playing a match game is as simple as reading each line of text aloud and then following the instructions or answering the question asked. So here's an example of this. So let's look at it. We have Look at Me Now is the name of the match game. This is the setup. It's worked with the image here. It's not the best, but that's fine. So the setup introduces the moment. So it says, you lock eyes from a distance with the person you're hoping to. Who is it? Answer with your glance. What would it take to impress you? Them, give them an answer. Rival team, draw one card and answer the headway for the rivals to set up the moment. Push yourself is an optional section for players who go all out. For the players to go out. Any spirit spent in this section carries over to the draw plus spirit in the. If you spend all your spirit at least one, you do, your aura glows and everyone is riveted. Now, say why all eyes are on you. Cool. And then we've got the play section. This is where win or loss is resolved. Time slows as you move, so either draw 2 cards, spirit. If you draw a prowess card, win. You answer a headway or setback in slow motion to follow the emotions of the game after win or loss is defeated. Look eyes at the person you want to impress. Ask them with your glance. What do you think of me now? Has it changed? Them give you an answer. Are you happy with this? The game. There's a point there. I see. The game match stakes. In this case, a player wins the match point. They get 1 point. If they lose, the other team will get the point. Okay. Not 100% sure about these push yourself play in after section. Oh, it's about to. Probably about to tell me all about it here, isn't it? So, we can look at the label in front of instructions to see who should perform it. So we've got you, so that's the player who chose the game. Your team, every major character in your team. The rival team, which is the facilitator. Teammate, a specific character on your team chosen by the player of the game. These instructions are followed by the player of that teammate. The rival is a specific character on the opposing team chosen by the player of the game. These instructions are followed by the player of that rival. Them is a specific character chosen by the player of the game. These instructions are followed by the player of that character. Yes. I think orange is going to be players around the table. Pink and purple are going to be NPC. I believe. That's what it feels like. Points tell a story. Points scored during a match are indicative and don't reflect the actual points scored during a sports game. Of course, a basketball or cricket game never ends with a score of 3-1. Points indicate who is ahead during the match and the gap between the two sides. You can interpret this as needed for the sport. The opener and momentum. Every match starts with the opener, a special match game to determine momentum. If the demons win the opener, they will have momentum. If they lose, the momentum will be with their opponents. This stays in place for the entire match. The team with momentum always wins ties. This includes games where players must exceed a target number to win. If the demons have momentum, the player will only need to meet the target number to find the victory. If the opponents have momentum, they must exceed it. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, are these the games? Match deck, okay. Most match games will require players to draw from the match deck. They will contain a series of cards from 1 to 6 in 4 following suits. We've got energy, connection, prowess, and focus. And a 1 to 6 here. Okay. Match games will instruct players to answer headway or setback questions on their match cards, or give players a choice of either. Headway occurs when something has gone well for the team, and setbacks when something goes wrong. Answering a headway or setback players, or when answering a headway or setback, players should always narrate what is happening in the battle. They do not need to answer the question strictly, but they can describe the events around the moment so its impact is. At the end of the match game, players should discard any remaining cards in their hand along with those played during the game. If the match deck runs out during a match, shuffle the discarded cards and okay. I might read the example here. So Lily's match game prompts Edwin to answer the following question. What easy opportunity proves to be an error? Edwin answers, you mentioned Priyanka playing defense more aggressively, right? I think Lily doesn't realize she shifted her style and assumes she'll blast past Priyanka in the way she did earlier. Max boots the ball to her and she starts dribbling down the wing of the field. She sees Priyanka coming and there's a moment she could pass, but she just ignores it. Cuts in towards the centre, expecting Priyanka to move back towards goal. Instead of that, I think Priyanka comes in for the tackle and neatly clips the ball away from Lily's feet. Ouch, says Tammy. What is Lily's reaction to that? I think it happens so quickly with Edwin that by the time she realises not dribbling anything, the ball's already going back the other way and it was sinking feeling clawing at the pit of her stomach. Oh, here's an example. Okay. Oh, these are the match moments, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, so, match moments. These are breaks in the sports action to reflect on the game and prepare for what's ahead, or explore the drama from relationships or trade. Each player set one match moment during the match. There is exactly one match moment between each. Right, okay. You don't have to go in any particular order for players, so it could be like player A does match game 1, or game match 1, and then player B could do their moment, and then later on if player A can then do their moment elsewhere. It doesn't have to be like player A, player B, player B. A match moment must include the major character of the player who sets it, and can also involve any character set they would like. So we have 4 moments to choose from. We've got a call timeout, a brief and private moment, size up your opponents, and remember a moment that brought you here. Call a timeout. You got something to say to the team or to someone on it. Call a timeout. It just can't wait. A brief and private moment. Say something important away from others. Size up your opponents. Now that you've seen them play, share your thoughts with your team. How do they appear to you? Who's the biggest threat? How can you fight back? Remember a moment that brought you here. Flashback to a previous time that fuels your motivation or weighs heavily upon you. And then we've got match terminology. Okay. Right. Almost at the end. Got page 19 just now. So, drawing X number of cards plus spirit. You draw X cards from the match deck. Before the draw, the player may spend any amount of spirit. For each spirit spent, you draw 1 additional card, then discard a card. If a player spends 2 or more spirit, they can draw all additional cards before discarding. Only the player performing the instruction can spend spirit. Plus fight. Fight tokens are used to adjust the value of cards up and down. A player that can adjust a card by 1 for each fight spent. A fight is spent after all the cards are revealed. Only the players performing the instructions can fight. So, for example, I'm going to read this one out. So, if Nadia reaches the instruction, if a total plus fight is more than 13, you win. She has played 3 cards of 4, 3, and 5 for a total of 12. She chooses to spend 2 fight tokens to increase the value of the 6 from the 4 to the 6. That brings her to a total of 14, winning. Right. That could have been important later. I didn't realize you could spend fight points like that. Encourage players to spend their spirit and fight in the first match rather than save them for later. They'll have plenty of time to earn them before. Push Yourself is an optional section that gives the character a chance to go all out. The player may choose whether or not the character will push themselves. Any spirit spent during a Push Yourself carries forward to the draw, plus spirit in the play section. Shani is playing a game of head-to-head. She decides that Max will push themselves. She spends all of her spirit too and describes how Max is fixated on her rival. Later in the play section, instructions specify to draw 3 cards plus spirit. The 2 spirit from the Push Yourself section are carried forward, so Shani draws 3 cards plus 2 and then discard. Oh, I see. Right. Same thing for this one. I understand. Yeah, so Shani reaches the instruction of draw 3 cards plus spirit before drawing. She spends 2 spirits, so she draws 5 cards, 3 from the instructions, and an extra card for each spirit she spent. Now she must discard 2 cards, 1 for each spirit. Chooses to discard the 2 lowest cards, leaving her with a 3. Right. Right, I think I get that. Set up the moment. The rival team or a particular rival may be called on to set up a moment, or the moment. To do this, describe a moment of the sport action that a player chooses, who chooses the match game must respond to. Examples include taking a shot on goal, starting it to make a risky task, even. The outcome of this action should always be uncertain. The rest of the match game will determine what happens. So, for example, the game Heavy Feeling calls upon the rival team to draw a card and answer headway to set up the moment. Sammy draws a 4 connection and reads the headway. Who helps you make a decisive move? She says. So it's early in the second half and the Sharks still haven't scored a goal. I think Priyanka is determined to make her big move here. The next time she gets the ball, she's going to give a signal to Ahmed and they are going to move forward together. Ahmed advances into position in the final third, ready to receive from Priyanka and rapidly fires a shot on goal. Priyanka dribbles the ball down the field, ready to pass. Let's see what happens. Okay. I wish you talked about the fight stuff earlier because I don't think I understand that at all. And then we've got facilitating match. So, the facilitator plays an important role in helping matches have ebb, flow, and feeling of an actual sports match. As a facilitator, you can help make sure the match runs smoothly and brings exciting sports moments to life. You've got a few important duties in the match, so interpret the match structure for your sport. Every match follows the same match structure. However, different sports work in different ways. As facilitator, you should interpret how the match structure fits into an actual match of a sport you've chosen. So, for example, if you've chosen cricket, you might decide that the first player game matches occur while the demons are batting, second free whilst the demons are fielding. If you're playing soccer, you might decide that one last chance represents an exciting penalty shoot. Oh, that makes sense, totally. Okay, so asking questions to expand on what is happening. What is happening? Who is this person? This may be your most important job during a match. If a player gives a short or incomplete answer to a question or a prompt, ask questions to expand on what is happening. If a player says a character blocks a goal, ask them, what does it look like? If they've realised they've missed a vital shot, ask them, does your character react to that? You can also ask for reactions of other players involved in the action, along with any other questions you think would help flesh out the moment. Clarify the sports action. Sports go sports. Sometimes when playing match games, the players may be a little vague about what's physically happening or not mention it at all. When this happens, jump in with a question or suggestion to clarify what is happening in the sports action. You can also add an extra sports details to help bring the moment to life. Play the rival team. As facilitator, you play the rival team as a whole. This means you can describe the actions of any member of the rival team to bring the match games to life. However, if a match team calls for a specific rival team member, they should always be played by the person who controls them. And then help out with instructions. In general, the facilitator runs the opening and closing games, whilst each player runs their own match game. However, sometimes a player might get stuck on instructions or lose track of where they were up to. In this case, jump in and help get the player back on track. There, we've got the credits. One thing I want to check before we go on. So I'm guessing we pull cards. I want to see what this. Maybe let me open it up because I don't understand. Match game. Yeah, I'm gonna open these up. Make sure I've understood this. Okay. So these are an example of the match game. So this is the opener. We've played to find out who will take the upper hand first. So the setup is the rival team. So whoever's playing the rival team, presumably the facilitator, is like, how are the rival team feeling and looking at this moment? Then the players team. One at a time, each teammate describes what they are doing in the first part of the match and answer the following questions. How are you feeling and looking in the moment? What are you most worried about in the match ahead? What dream burns the strongest in your mind? And then your team will draw one card and reveal it. And I guess it's an extra. You spend spirit, and so you can draw more cards and then discard it. You add the cards together. If the value fight is greater than 12 for 3 players or greater than 16 for 4 players, the momentum is with your team. On a win, players of the highest cards will answer their headway. On a loss, the player of the lowest cards will answer their. Where does that come from? What's the head? Why? Okay, I guess because then energy. I guess this is the. Oh, it's on these cards. Oh, I'm an idiot. All right, so say if I spent this card, and it was the highest one, and we win. I have to answer this. So how do I smash through a barrier? Right. But then if I got the lowest one, which was this one, I'd have to answer the setback. So what risk do you take that hurts the team? I understand that now. Right. So is the fight then? The fight's these bits at the top, right? I mean, let's see. Let's say what it is. Always narrate what's happening. Yeah, I guess that must be it. Okay. I think I understand. We have fight, spirit, and setback. Not 100% clear on the difference between the two of them. That's okay. Oh, it's between the 3 of them. That's alright. And then we've got the beautiful image of the box at the end. Interesting. Well, there you go. What do we think overall? So that's 21 pages. It's obviously not the full version. The full version is like 40. Overall. So, ultimately, for me, a lot of it is very similar to Jane Austen, the Jane Austen book, Good Society, Jane Austen. So that the collaboration and backstory very, very similar. Probably a much easier setup actually than Good Society, but very straightforward. And that I love the idea of playing a major character, but then playing a connection of somebody else's. I really like that. I love the idea of having having a team that has like special abilities and that you can do something interesting in the upkeep phase that's going to be different depending on which team you have. Love that. I like it how that's quite simple to set up as well. I love the cycle of play. It seems again very straightforward. And like the mechanic of using the setback dice, that means they have spirit. Get spirit, right? That's change it. Oh no, they trade it to. They don't trade it for spirit. They trade it for a fight token instead. And you can use it as you can use the fight tokens to like lower the difficulty down and stuff. That was it. Oh, to lower or raise it on stuff. Yes, I remember that now. And then you keep those in reserve. What spirit? Spirit must be something else then that you get. I think I'm lost a little bit about just the difference between light and spirit tokens and when you sort of gain them. So setback, I understand those are like resolve tokens that you spend, and if people accept those intrusions, they'll get the fight stuff, which then they can use later on in the match games. I can't remember where you get spirit from. Is that because you answer something? Oh, spirit is when you complete your character stuff, isn't it? Yes, there you go. When you complete a trait. Right, so you might not get those all the time. You always start with... Okay, I think I've got that now. I think it's a little bit complex, I think. But again, I'm sure they have it in the video stuff as well. So I do like it. I do like how they give... I think the examples they give are quite good in the sense of like it describes it in very simple language. Also, the language for this quick start is a little bit repetitive, but as we sort of discussed in the comments, that it's changed a lot. Oh, Brian says, in the full version, the setback tokens are called trouble tokens, and fight and spirit tokens are the same. That's good to know. Yeah, trouble tokens sounds a little bit better, I think. Sort of fits with that whole, like... Yeah, so I guess cause maybe people don't like the term setback. Like, I understand that way. That's good to know. Spirit tokens let you draw additional cards. Right. Yes, that's right. And you gain the spirit tokens by completing your traits and your drives and stuff. And that could be in the upkeep phase, or that's when you ideally would get them if you've forgotten in play. But if you're like, oh, I've completed it in this moment, you get them there. Right, so it's not something that you get from another player. Right, I'm getting it slowly. There's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit complex. I do like how they mention how you would set up the game both online and in person. Obviously, I know it was kickstarted, sorry, in a time when obviously a lot of 2021 we were still in the pandemic. It made sense that we wanted to do an online version, and as well, I will say the tracker. Oh, let me get that up. Where's it gone? No. Yeah, this tracker looks great, by the way. It must be an old one. This one as well, because it says setbacks here. Well. Yeah, fairly... Overall, I like it. Again, I think I'm going to have to watch some of their video playthroughs to just really get that sense. Because I can imagine with the physical aspect of it, you would actually get that quite quickly. Whereas online, it might be a little bit trickier. But otherwise, I like the concept of it. I do wish that it would give some examples of sports that... I guess because it's tricky. The quick start, it talks about, like, you know, it's going to be a game that you play against someone's, like, straight away. And it's going to be a team game. But I think it would be nice to have, like, what kind of examples would you have? Like, I know I joked about, like, Blood Bowl, like Magic the Gathering, maybe chess for individual stuff. Fencing, it mentioned, that would be quite cool. And again, I know this game is, like, could be easily a two-player game, and maybe it's going to, maybe in the full rulebook, it talks about, like, any adjustments you need to make for a two-player game, because that's what they do with Good Society. It's like a duet version they do for Good Society. So yeah, I think the only thing that's really bothered me, and I know this sounds very silly, is the colours. I really don't like the light blue. I'm really at least have the light blue fully fleshed out, or have some sort of like blue background with the white. I find it really hard to read certainly on the screen, and certainly the play examples as well. I kind of wish they were in like a box with a little bit of shading, just so they stand out a little bit. The orange is okay. I would say the character sheet as well is a little bit like, I don't know, it's a little bit too bright. I wonder if it says here. No, match moments. Oh, so the match moments as well. Yeah, I quite like the match moments idea. It feels very flavoursome on that. The sheet itself is okay. Maybe the writing's a little bit diddy for my liking, but again, I appreciate this is just me looking at the screen, so it'd probably be better as a full version. I don't like the squared paper. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to emulate that high school, like, college thing. Just make it a box that people can write in. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure about that design choice per se. It is much more legible in the physical version. I've been following along. Oh, brilliant. Thanks for that, Brian. Like I said, sometimes I'm like, maybe it's too small for my little tired eyes. But that's good if it's more legible in the actual play. But like, yeah, and I will say, like, I think the having that online tracker where everything is in place, it's so easy, certainly for me to look at as well. And I think what I like about it is that if I was a facilitator, I can easily look through. Well, actually, let's go back to it. Sorry, I keep going back to it as if like it's going to change anything, but I like how we've got the 3 separate sheets. Ooh, there we go. But the 3 separate, so we always have the collaboration we can easily look to, which is great. Always have that team stuff as well, which presumably would change if you get the full version. And easily here I can look through all the players, what their traits are. I like how it's always all here. So if I did if I changed it here, oh, it changes automatically. How good is that? That is so good. I love tracker keepers that just change automatically. It's so well designed and well thought out. That's really good. And then we've got the connections here as well. Really good. Yeah, just this orange here is a little bit. Again, maybe I'd put it in bold or something just on this, or I don't know. Overall, yeah, but overall, I'm intrigued by it. I definitely would like to see. I'm going to watch one of those video tutorials after this to actually get a full idea of certainly the match games, because that is a new concept. These sort of the rules and stuff like that. But ultimately, what's great about it is that it is more role play than anything else. Like the spirit tokens and the fight tokens and the trouble tokens now, they are a mechanic to help things through, but ultimately you don't necessarily need to use any of them. You just have that look of the cards with the number on them. That's sort of that challenge value. So I quite like that, actually. I like that mechanic that has just a little bit more crunchy than Good Society. So you still have that roleplay element of it, but you do have that success on like how many cards you draw and stuff like that. So I know I really do like that. Yeah, I'm actually very, very intrigued. I'm trying to think of like a good story that I would do. And I guess it follows a tournament, so that is the story structure that you'd follow of a team going through a tournament. So it is like our way to nationals, our way to regionals, and to the internationals and all that sort of thing. Yeah, I quite like that. I guess I wonder, and I'm sure, Brian, if you're reading along at home, you probably know, if there's any real rules about moments between players. It did say it was missing something in the core book, like friendships and like moments to settle on. Let me see if I can find it again. What was it that it was missing? It said here. So we had overview. No. That's good. It only includes a small fraction of teams, traits, and things, and the full version will expand it to have more, including sports playing styles. So yes, we're missing that from the character creation. Emotional fallout, that's what I'm thinking of. That's what we want to see, any sort of breaking of bonds, I guess. And still playtesting the game. And then I know there's going to be more traits and more match components, etc. The game recognizes that the element of rivalry, team and individuals, makes the story more compelling. Absolutely. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Because ultimately, it's not about winning or losing the sport. It is about the effect of that on the players afterwards. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to hate playing sport because I hated losing. And I used to, oh God, as a kid, I used to cry when we lost like a netball game. And they were like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I didn't want to lose. I worked really hard and I didn't win. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, I really like it. I think just, the colour of it, again, it doesn't work well on the screen personally for me. But I can imagine it printed out, that looks alright. And if it's more readable in the physical version, if Brian's following along at home, that is great. And yeah, so I think I definitely would be interested to see the core version, which I do have. That's all we've got time for today. We've done almost, just over 2 hours, which is nice. So yeah, if people want to check out, you can get the full version here on the Storybrewers site. Let me just try and, Fiona, we're going to say, what are you doing? Go back to Storybrewers. Brewers. It was Spirit. No, that's just their picture. Why have I done that? Silly Billy. Silly Billy. There we go. Are we showing it? There we go. Tiny writing. Fight with Spirit. There we go. So yeah, the actual digital version of itself is only £15, so £16. Sorry, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Obviously, the actual physical box set is roughly about just under £50. Obviously, there'll be because it's probably going to come all the way from Australia, so there's going to be a little bit of a shipping fee. But you do get the digital version in that as well. So I think there's definitely stuff here. I do kind of wish that these games, when they have lots of elements in it, that they do come in with like a VTT module already prepped or a way to do it easily. It seems straightforward, but as someone who doesn't use that sort of thing, I can't comment on that necessarily. It's just something to think about. So if you've got all these elements, I would love to be able to set up and go. Maybe like this doesn't feel like a Discord type thing myself, but you know how some games they're like, oh, you need a forum with different channels. Here's a Discord template. That's the sort of thing I would like. And they've got like the character tracker keeper that's already sorted and stuff, so I very much appreciate that as well. The full version has info you would need to play for any of the 4 teams. Good to know, Brian. Thank you so much for that. Very much appreciate someone who's got the actual core version to hand. Well, that is it. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. But that was Fight with Spirit, which was wonderful. I will turn back to big Fiona screen. There we go. Hi. If you're like, Fiona, what the hell? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. Check out What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly tabletop-RPG one-shot podcast. As always, it's going very, very well. I need to edit the next episode this week. Got another interview. Yeah, I've got a few interviews that have been out recently. I'm very aware there's not many actual plays. There is one. I just need to sit down and do it and get that out ASAP. And maybe do some more solo games. I'm just aware, like, in a couple of weeks, well, 2 months, I might be very busy, so I might need to suddenly just do a lot of content in the next couple of weeks and hope for the best. We'll see. But we've also got, if you're like, Fiona, don't talk about these RPGs, check out something else. And I'm like, well, we've got the DM's Book Club, which is a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons & Dragons and discuss how we might include them in our role-playing campaigns, which I am in the middle of editing next week's episode. It's quite a long one, so we do go off the rails, so I'm having to be like, nope. Chop, edit. It's all very good. Great. Too long didn't read, Fiona. Oh, thank you. Hello, I like content. Thank you, JC Darcy. I also perceive you. Oh, thanks, guys. I very much appreciate it and spending your Sundays with me. I will be back later this week. I've got some other ones planned. Let me just make sure I didn't just share my whole screen like whilst you guys were seeing that. There is the Discord where I can look at the actual what I put out there. I've scheduled, not tomorrow, sorry, Tuesday, we've got God Killer. I'm very excited for. That's been one of my top, like, let's read this one for ages by Connie Chang. So we'll look at that on Tuesday. And then we've got Worldwide Wrestling 2nd edition on Thursday, which I'm very much looking forward to. I don't know how much of that we're going to get through, I'll be honest. But I'm very keen to look at that for reasons. Be mysterious. There's yet another charity event that I want to take part of, and they're like, you can do anything. And I was like, well, what if I ran a worldwide wrestling game and then the chat could have something to do with it? And they were like, that sounds really good. And I'm like, cool. I've never run this game, so I might as well look it up. So the next 2 games I've got on my list is the God Killer, Connie Chang, and Worldwide Wrestling. That should be exciting. And I'm sure I've got some other things as well. We've got the second part of Heart. No, not this week. It's next Friday. The 8th. Heart is great. We've covered that before on this channel as well. I really enjoyed it. Very, very grim. Very me. So yeah, you can go check those out as well. Yeah, I'm just babbling now. I'm going to get off. I'm going to go to the gym. I've not been, and I kind of need to go before next weekend. Because I'm doing this workshop, it's going to be very physical, so I need to go and do that. I also need to go learn lines. I also need to go do editing. So I got to go to work tomorrow. Anyway, much love, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much for checking in with me, and I will see you as soon as I find the end of stream button. I'll wave like a loon, and I'll see you next time.